Whoop, whoop. WTS, what Ted says, right here every Monday, every Thursday. What are we doing here? We're getting a fatter wallet. We're getting a leaner budget. We are building your net worth. This is the place that you want to get the information. Check out my book on Amazon, The 21-Day Budget Cleanse. If you're a sole proprietor, by the way, or you got a small business, guess what? You might be able to write off your work clothes and say, what? Yes, your work clothes and other related expenses. People ask me this all the time, Ted. Can I deduct my clothes? Maybe yes, maybe no. Now, the IRS allows for certain items of clothing to be written off as a business expense depending upon how they're used. That's the key. How are they used? Some pieces of clothing can be claimed alongside your deductible expenses on Schedule C of your tax return, or if you have an LLC, you can take it off the LLC. Let's get with first things first. You got to be self-employed to be able to make this happen, to write off your work clothes. If you're a regular W-2 employee, you're going to probably have to swallow the cost for the uniforms, or your employer may have to reimburse you for it, but deducting it on your itemized deductions in the miscellaneous deduction section, it's just gone. It's not going to happen anymore. These were the Trump tax changes that were made years ago. So what are the rules? Well, any clothes you're trying to claim as a business deduction, I get that all the time, have to be for ordinary and necessary expenses. This means the first question is, what line of work are you in exactly in order to be able to claim them? And are the clothes necessary to do your job? So, for example, if you're a writer and you work from home, the chances are you're not going to be able to deduct any clothing. You're going to be like, I need this lucky t-shirt in order to be able to write my book. Probably not going to fly. But your clothes have to meet two specific requirements. Make sure that you write these down. Number one, you have to wear it to work. Number two, this is the big one. You can only wear it for work. So you can't be like, these are my work clothes, now I'm going out to party. That's not going to fly. What does that mean, Ted? You have to wear it for work. Well, this is the whole idea of having a uniform in mind, because it includes all items that would be necessary and practical for you to complete your work. So, and a real example of this is if you had protective clothing, like, if you're going to go somewhere and you need to wear a jacket because you're on a job site and that can protect you from falling debris or something like that, a hard hat, work gloves, safety glasses, safety boots would all be tax deductible in my view. Always consult a CPA. Other possibilities could be like this. How do I get in the gray area, Ted? Well, you could wear a bandana and a t-shirt and you got a dog walking business and you could say it's called Wag the Tail Dog Service, and a crazy hat, and that could work. Or you had certain clothes because you're an actor or an actress and you're going to audition and you need that. These are the kinds of ways that you have to get creative if you want to play in that space. Remember, you can always get audited and you're going to have to prove it. But the key is you only wear it for work. In order to be able to sustain the tax deduction, they have to be actively unsuitable for everyday wear. Everyday wear. Now, I'm going to give you the end around on this, or the workaround, but you have to think about something like a doctor who wears scrubs. I mean, yeah, sometimes I see doctors at restaurants and they're wearing scrubs. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. You're going to wear them to a Halloween party. Why would you do that if you're a doctor? Unless you're lazy. You can't use them for work and non-work at the same time. Let me tell you how you get around this rule, okay? And I don't know who's watching this video, but I hope that you appreciate this tip. If, in fact, you have a business and you're wearing clothes, one thing that's important is that, is it clothes or is it a marketing expense? So the number one thing I want you to consider is hiring an embroiderer. This is brilliant, by the way. It's why you come to What Ted Says and embroider your clothes. If I've got this suit jacket and it basically says Exit Stage Left Advisors on here because that's my company, and I wear this everywhere, am I wearing work clothes or am I wearing merchandise that the company made me wear? Hats, gloves, workout clothes, shoes. You know you can brand those Nikes, right? Even the Voodoo Nikes, you can do those too. All of them. Low dunks, I see people wearing them. Brand them. If you brand the merchandise, then you change that category from work clothes to marketing. That is the absolute key. What's it going to cost you to embroider? $4 to $5? Check out the tax deduction. So the whole thing that some people are also doing, which is a possibility, is renting clothes. Ew. People say, who would rent clothes? Well, It can qualify for a tax deduction if it meets the same requirements, but you're not buying them, you're renting them. So if you need safety gear as an example, or you need a distinctive costume, or you're doing a promotional photo shoot, those could all be potentially tax deductible. In the end, my embroidering thing is brilliant. I've seen very few business owners do it besides buying some stupid golf shirts and hats and things like that. You got to get smarter. This is how you figure out how to turn something that's a below-the-line tax deduction to an above-the-line tax deduction. That's the way that you want to do it. So think about this. Make sure that it's something that must be worn for work. And if it is, and it is a regular thing, you might also be able to get dry cleaning expenses that can come off, or alterations, or even shoe polishes and things like that. Just make sure that it meets all the IRS standards for everything that's necessary and ordinary in order to be able to make it happen. Claiming laundry is a little bit harder. It's possible if you're on a business trip and you're claiming those laundered expenses because you needed those clothes in the course of business, that may be something that could work out as well. There are questions I get that are here in what Ted says. How do I deduct business mileage? How do I set up an LLC? You should really watch those videos. But having been a business owner that owns 20 or more businesses and entities, I can tell you that I've looked at these rules very, very closely. None of these mean that the IRS won't audit you. You're going to have to prove it, and you're going to have to be within the guidelines. It's why you want to get a good bookkeeper. Check out Decimal Bookkeeping. It's why you want to get a good CPA. But in the end, you need to understand the rules. And if you do, and you use these very, very wisely, this is how you can take further deductions in your business and be able to write some of these items off, even including your clothes. And that's something that you can take to the cleaner. That's this episode of What Ted Says. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm talking about. Make sure that you hit the notifications bell to get all of the goodies every single Monday, every single Thursday, and browse around the website and check out the other videos. Thanks for watching.